This one I'm going to talk about, what do you call it? A confidence interval for a mean. And it doesn't matter. I'll show you sigma known, sigma unknown, because it's very much the same. So again, you're going to go to stat and you're going to go to test and scroll all the way down to the interval stuff. And you guys know that you're going to use Z interval when sigma is unknown. I'm sorry, when sigma is known, and T interval when sigma is unknown, right? So dependent on, the situation, if they're dealing with a confidence interval for a mean, for a population mean, they have to determine whether sigma is known or sigma is unknown. So obviously they have to determine whether they're going to use Z or T, right? Or whether they're on the S&D curve or the student T distribution curve. So that is going to tell them whether they're going to use Z interval or T interval. Outside of that, let's assume sigma is known and I go to Z interval. Both of them are going to look like this, where they have data or stats. And I'm going to show you data in another video. Let's focus on stats. Let's focus on the situation where they give us the values within the problem. And notice that Z interval asks for sigma. So this, I like to focus on the fact that the calculator tells me what to do in a sense, because it's giving me what I need to use Z, right? I need sigma. So I don't know, I'm going to make it up. 5 and then X bar. Let's assume all this is given to me. And then my sample size will make like 255, and then I want a 99% confidence interval, so I'm going to make this 0.99 because this is always in decimal form here. And then it gives me my interval in interval notation, and then you could verify your sample mean and your sample size, to make sure you didn't make an error. So the only difference between Z interval and T interval, if I go to stat again, and I scroll over to test with my right arrow, go down, I want an interval, so it has to end in interval or int. So this time I'm gonna go to T interval. Let's assume sigma is unknown. And again, I'm gonna highlight stats for this video and I'll do data in the next one. Notice that now it's asking for SX, which is the sample standard deviation. So it's basically telling me which one to use and when, so the calculator gives it away, right? And again, I'm using T interval or Z interval with stats if the information or the statistical values are given to me, right? I'm given like the sample mean somewhere. I'm given the sample standard deviation. I'm given the, N, the sample size. Let's just call that 6. And then, I don't know, let's make it a 95% again. Okay, down to calculate. Okay, and then it gives you this stuff again. So you can verify your sample mean or your sample standard deviation, and then you have your low end and your up end and interval notation. So this is where we're using either, again, stat over to test, scroll down to either Z interval or T interval if I'm doing a confidence interval for a population mean where sigma is known or unknown, okay? So these are both used for a confidence interval for a population mean. It's just dependent on whether sigma is known or unknown. And I'm focusing in this video on stats as if that were given in the problem. The statistical values are given. So you need to highlight stats if that's the case.